Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into the work of Lise Getoor and her fascinating work in AI. As always, we're going off of the profile on AIVIPs.org.
Yeah, it's really interesting how she's kind of like pushing the boundaries of AI. Like she's not just building systems, she's figuring out how to make AI understand the real world, with all its messiness and complexity.
So it's like she's teaching AI to think more like a human, to deal with data that isn't always perfect and organized.
Exactly. She's really focused on this idea of relationships in data. It's not just about looking at individual data points, but understanding the connections between them. It's kind of like
seeing the forest instead of just the trees.
Yeah, exactly. So think about something like predicting traffic patterns instead of just looking at each car individually.
Right.
Her work allows AI to analyze how cars interact on the road network, and that's where statistical relational learning comes in, or SRL for short.
Okay, SRL. So that's the framework for understanding these relationships. But how does that actually work? It still sounds a little bit abstract to me.
Yeah. Okay, well, imagine you're trying to predict what someone might buy online.
Right?
Instead of just looking at their past purchases, SRL allows AI to factor in things like who their friends are, what those friends are buying,
I see.
and even broader trends in their social network. So it's about understanding influence and how information flows through those connections.
So it's like AI is becoming this superpowered detective using clues from the entire network to make predictions.
That's a great way to put it. And one of Getoor's key contributions to SRL was developing something called relational dependency networks, or RDNs.
RDNs, okay, those sound pretty complicated. Break it down for me. What do they actually do?
So think of an RDN as a map. This map shows how different variables in a data set depend on each other.
Yeah.
For example, in a social network, an RDN could represent how someone's political views might be influenced by their friends' opinions or the news articles they share. RDNs provide a structured way for AI to analyze these complex relationships.
So it's like a visual guide for the AI, helping it understand which connections are the most important for making accurate predictions.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that Getoor doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
She recognizes that real-world data is rarely neat and tidy. There's uncertainty, conflicting information.
It's messy.
Yeah, and things are constantly changing.
Right. It's not like everything fits into perfect little boxes.
Yeah.
So how does her work account for all of that messiness?
Well, that's where probabilistic soft logic comes in, or PSL, as it's often called.
Okay, PSL.
It allows AI to work with what are called soft truth values, which are essentially probabilities rather than strict yes or no answers.
So instead of AI saying, this person will definitely click on this ad, it can say, there's a 60% chance based on their social connections and browsing history.
Exactly.
That seems much more realistic.
It is.
And useful for making decisions in the real world.
It is. PSL is a game changer because it allows AI to deal with nuances and make predictions even when the data is incomplete or uncertain.
So, for example, thinking about something like medical diagnoses.
Exactly.
PSL can help AI consider a range of symptoms and risk factors, acknowledging that there's not always a clear-cut answer.
Right. It's not always black and white.
It's like PSL is allowing AI to think more like a doctor, weighing different possibilities and making informed judgments based on the available evidence.
That's a good analogy. And one of the key things about PSL is that it allows for the integration of human knowledge and expertise.
So interesting.
So you can actually encode expert rules and guidelines into the PSL framework to guide the AI's decision-making process.
So it's not just about crunching numbers. PSL can incorporate human insights and experience to make AI even more powerful and accurate.
Yeah.
This is all pretty mind-blowing stuff. But before we get too deep into the technical details, I want to understand how Getoor sees all of this connecting to the real world. What's the bigger picture here?
Well, for Getoor, the development of AI is not just about creating cool technology. She's driven by a strong belief in using AI for social good. She sees it as a tool to address real-world problems and improve people's lives.
So it's not just about building smarter algorithms, it's about using those algorithms to make a positive impact.
Precisely. And one of the ways this manifests in Getoor's work is through her focus on knowledge graphs.
Knowledge graphs. We haven't touched on those yet. What are they exactly?
Think of the knowledge graph as a giant interconnected web of information. Each point on the web represents a concept or an entity, and the connections between them represent relationships. It's like a massive mind map that AI can use to understand how information is related.
So it's like giving AI a visual map of knowledge.
Yeah.
Showing how different pieces of information fit together.
Yeah.
But how does that actually translate into real-world applications?
Well, knowledge graphs are incredibly powerful tools for things like natural language processing and understanding.
Okay.
They can help AI understand the nuances of human language, make connections between different concepts, and answer complex questions by navigating that web of information.
So it's like giving AI the ability to understand language and context in a much deeper way.
Exactly. And for Getoor, this is about more than just building cool tech. It's about using these advancements to solve real problems and make a positive difference in the world.
So we've talked about SRL, PSL, and knowledge graphs.
Yeah.
All pretty groundbreaking stuff.
Okay.
But I'm curious, what are some specific examples of how Getoor is using these tools to address real-world problems? Like, is this actually making a difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is a resounding yes. Her research isn't just theoretical, it's being applied in real-world settings to make a tangible difference.
Okay, great. So give me an example.
Well, one area where Getoor's work is having a significant impact is healthcare.
Healthcare, okay.
She's using AI to tackle challenges like resource allocation and disease prediction, and even looking at how we can leverage AI to reduce health disparities.
That sounds amazing. But how exactly is she applying these AI tools to healthcare? Like, it's still hard for me to see the connection between something like PSL and, say, helping doctors make better decisions.
Okay, well, let's take resource allocation, for example. Hospitals have a finite number of beds, doctors and nurses.
Right. All right.
Using SRL, Getoor and her team are developing AI systems that can analyze patient data, predict hospital admissions, and help optimize the use of limited resources.
So it's like AI is helping hospitals become more efficient, making sure that the right resources are available at the right time. But how does that actually work in practice?
Imagine a system that can analyze data from electronic health records, emergency room visits, and even social media trends.
Wow.
To identify potential outbreaks of infectious diseases.
Okay.
By understanding how these factors are connected, the AI can help hospitals prepare for surges in demand and allocate resources accordingly.
So it's like AI is becoming a public health detective, using data to anticipate problems before they even arise. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But what about her work on health disparities? How can AI address those complex social issues?
That's a really important question. Health disparities often arise from systemic biases and inequalities in access to care.
Right.
Getoor is exploring how AI can be used to identify and mitigate these biases, ensuring that everyone has an equal opportunity to live a healthy life.
So it's not just about making healthcare more efficient. It's about making it fairer.
Exactly. And one way this is being done is by using AI to personalize treatment plans.
Interesting.
Imagine a system that considers not only a patient's medical history, but also factors like their socioeconomic status, access to transportation, and even cultural beliefs.
Okay.
This kind of personalized approach can help ensure that everyone receives the most appropriate care tailored to their individual needs.
It's like AI is helping us move away from a one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare towards something that's much more nuanced and equitable.
That's a great way to put it, and Getoor's work extends beyond healthcare. She's also applying her expertise to address challenges in education.
Education?
Particularly around creating more equitable learning opportunities.
That makes sense. We were talking earlier about how AI can help personalize learning experiences. I can see how that would be hugely beneficial in education.
Yeah.
But how exactly is Getoor approaching this?
One of her focuses is on developing intelligent tutoring systems that can adapt to each student's individual learning style and pace. Imagine a system that can identify when a student is struggling with a particular concept and provide them with personalized support. Whether that's additional practice problems, different explanations, or even connecting them with a human tutor.
It's like having a personal AI tutor who can guide each student along their learning journey.
Yeah.
But personalized learning is only one piece of the puzzle, right? What about addressing systemic biases in education? We were talking earlier about how algorithms can sometimes perpetuate inequalities.
Right, and Getoor is keenly aware of this. She's working on techniques to audit algorithms used in education, ensuring that they are fair and unbiased. This could include things like reviewing algorithms used for college admissions or student loan applications to ensure that they are not discriminating against certain groups of students.
So it's about making sure that AI is used to level the playing field in education, not to reinforce existing inequalities.
Absolutely. Getoor is a strong advocate for responsible AI development. She believes that AI should be used to empower individuals and communities, not to exacerbate existing social problems.
And that's a crucial point. We've been talking about all the amazing things AI can do, but it's equally important to consider the potential risks and ensure that AI is developed and used ethically.
I completely agree. And one of the ways Getoor is working to address these concerns is through her focus on mentoring and training the next generation of AI researchers. She's instilling in them a deep sense of responsibility and the importance of considering the broader social impact of their work.
So it's not just about building the technology, it's about building a community of ethical AI practitioners who are committed to using their skills for good.
Precisely. And that's something we can all learn from, even those of us who aren't directly involved in AI development.
Right.
We all have a responsibility to think critically about how this technology is being used and to advocate for its responsible and ethical application.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Lise Getoor's work as highlighted on AIVIPs.org. We've explored her groundbreaking research on SRL-PSL and knowledge graphs, and we've seen how she's applying those tools to address real-world challenges in healthcare education and beyond.
It's truly inspiring to see someone who's not only pushing the boundaries of AI research, but also using that research to make a positive impact on the world.
Her work is a reminder that AI is not just about creating cool technology. It's about using that technology to create a more just and equitable future for everyone.
And that's a vision worth striving for.
So it's really inspiring to see how Getoor's work is like weaving together these complex technical innovations with a real commitment to social good. But I'm curious, what kind of impact is her work actually having on the ground? Are we seeing these ideas translate into real-world change?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, her research isn't just theoretical. It's being applied in real-world settings to make a tangible difference.
So, give me an example.
For instance, her work on resource allocation is already being used by hospitals to improve efficiency and patient care.
So those AI systems we were talking about, they're not just prototypes sitting in a lab somewhere. They're actually out in the field helping doctors and nurses make better decisions.
Absolutely. And the impact goes beyond just saving time and money. These systems are also helping to improve patient outcomes by ensuring that people receive the care they need when they need it.
That's incredible. It sounds like these systems are truly starting to live up to the promise of AI for good. But what about the challenges? I imagine there are hurdles to overcome when you're trying to implement these kinds of cutting-edge technologies in complex environments like healthcare.
Oh, of course. There are always challenges. One of the biggest is data privacy and security. When you're dealing with sensitive patient information, it's absolutely crucial to ensure that data is being handled responsibly and ethically.
Right.
And Getoor is very mindful of these concerns. Her work always prioritizes data privacy and protection.
So it's not just about building the technology, it's about building trust and ensuring that people feel comfortable sharing their data, knowing that it will be used responsibly.
Exactly. And that's a critical piece of the puzzle. Without trust, even the most brilliant AI system will fail to make a real impact.
And speaking of making an impact, we haven't touched on Getoor's work in education as much. We were discussing personalized learning earlier. Are there any examples of her ideas being put into practice in schools or classrooms?
Yeah, definitely. Her research on intelligent tutoring systems is being used to develop personalized learning platforms that adapt to individual student needs. These platforms can provide tailored instruction feedback and practice helping students learn more effectively and at their own pace.
So it's like bringing the benefits of one-on-one tutoring to every student, even in classrooms with large student-to-teacher ratios.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And early results are promising, suggesting that these personalized learning platforms can significantly improve student engagement and academic performance, especially for students who might struggle in traditional classroom settings.
It's exciting to see these innovations actually making a difference in the lives of students. And it seems like Getoor's work is having a ripple effect, inspiring a whole new generation of researchers to pursue AI for social good.
Absolutely. Her influence extends far beyond her own research. She's a mentor, an advocate, and a role model for countless others in the field, encouraging them to think critically about the ethical implications of AI and to use their skills to make a positive impact on the world.
That's a powerful legacy. And it sounds like her work is still evolving, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Oh yeah, for sure. Getoor is a true pioneer in the field of AI, and she shows no signs of slowing down. Her ongoing research is exploring new frontiers, from using AI to combat misinformation and promote media literacy to developing new techniques for fair and equitable data analysis.
It's inspiring to see someone who's so passionate about using their expertise to address the big challenges facing our world.
I agree. Getoor's work is a testament to the transformative power of AI when it's guided by a strong sense of purpose and a commitment to social good.
Well, that's it for this deep dive into the world of Lise Getoor and her incredible work in AI. We hope you found this exploration as fascinating as we did. We encourage you to check out her profile on AIVIPs.org to learn even more about her research and its impact on the world.
And as always, keep thinking critically about the role of AI in our society and how we can use this powerful technology to create a better future for everyone.